Your VC wants you to blow up. That is a direct quote from the Y Combinator playbook, specifically this incredible essay from Paul Graham called Default Alive or Default Dead, which explains how most startups die because they hit this fatal pinch. We implemented this playbook at Doola, and that's how we avoided it. I'm going to show you exactly how you can implement it today and understand, are you default alive or default dead? Hey, I'm Arjun, CEO and founder of doola.com, a venture-backed, YC-backed startup here in New York City that's raised over $13 million. I want to take you back in time, though, to very early on in Doola's history. And actually, over the last couple of years, there have been several times Doola has almost died. Well, it's not because I ran out of motivation or there was some issue internally, although those have happened. It was because we almost ran out of money. That's honestly one of the biggest reasons startups die. I think ultimately startups die if the founder loses motivation. But if you run out of money, you literally can't stay in the game. Now, here's what's so tricky about this. We were actually a couple months out from demo day, and we were running out of cash. And we were in a position where we actually needed to raise money from an investor for the business to succeed. Thankfully, we were able to raise. Fast forward to the future. There came a time when Doola was growing. We had just raised money, and we thought, let's hire, let's spend. And that's what we thought because that's what other companies did. And you know what happened? We kept pouring money onto hires and Google ad spend, but the growth didn't follow. And we had months where our burn left us at a point where if burn maintained at that same growth rate, we would be out of money again in 8 to 12 months. Now, it's at this time that we had a very hard combo with our investors. And I say it was hard because it was a slap in the face. It was a bucket of cold water. At this rate, we were default dead, meaning if we continued at this rate, Doola was going to die. So we had to change things, not only to get to a point where our runway would extend, but can we become default alive? And I'll define what that means, but effectively you're saying at your current growth rate, will you reach a point where the amount of cash coming in is greater than the amount of cash coming out and you control your own destiny before you run out of cash in your bank balance? Here's the takeaway I want to leave you with. Fundraising cannot be your plan A. Survival is your plan A. You as a startup need to control your own destiny. So now that's the thing I think about. Are we default alive or are we defaulted dead? Step 1, confront the brutal facts. Now I want to give you a quick assignment. In the description below, we're going to link to a calculator which will show you exactly this. This is made by Trevor Blackwell from YC, shout out Trevor, where you can actually put in your numbers and calculate, are you default alive or default dead? Open up the calculator, put in your monthly revenue, put in your growth rate, put in your expenses, and you'll be able to see, are you default alive or dead? Now again, this might be scary, but you have to confront the brutal facts. Enter in the numbers, pause the video if you have to, please do this. And here's a quick win. Put the numbers in and then just say it out loud. We are default alive or we are default dead. You need to confront the facts, and this is step 1 in doing so. Step 2, stop solving problems by hiring. This is one of the hardest things because as an early founder, and I made this mistake, you think that the way to actually grow is just hiring people. And you do need to build a team. You absolutely can't do everything alone. But hiring people can often mask underlying issues, and Paul Graham actually has some great guidance on why people do this. The first is they think more people will get more work done. But as you have more people, that's not always the case because communication gets harder. Part 2 is they see big startups and they copy them. That's a mistake I've made too. I made actually all these mistakes. Step 3, find growth that isn't expensive. There's this weird thing, well, I think it's weird because it's uncanny, that Paul Graham talks about, which is that surprisingly, there's this uncorrelation between how much a startup spends and how much it grows. And the reason for this is you can actually find this viral growth by striking a nerve or serving an underserved market, which doesn't come from just pouring more money into spend. Now, you can actually grow via spend. Doola invests in Google ads, but we also grow through other channels which don't correlate with spend, like organic word of mouth or partnerships. That's just more hustle and closing more partnerships. So it's easy to fall into this trap of thinking, oh, I have to spend more to acquire customers. You are going to have to spend some money. And oftentimes, I do think the person who can spend the most to acquire a customer wins because you can outspend and you have the paybacks. But you don't need that at the get-go. And here's the other thing too, which we've learned the hard way. If you scale a business early with poor unit economics or the engine isn't actually there, you're pouring more into spend, but it's not efficient spend. And maybe your payback's not even there too. So you're paying $1 to get a customer who pays you 50 cents. That's not a business. That's a losing 50 cents per customer. So what I would say here is really challenge yourself, especially early. If you can find growth channels that aren't expensive, 1, chances are your competitors aren't looking there. 2, it means you're going to have more runway to grow with those channels. And 3, there likely are compounding effects because if there's runway and your competitors aren't there, you have defensibility. You've figured out something that no one else has, and that can be unique to you. You've cornered that ground or that resource. If you want to check out the video on choosing your primary metric, this is another fantastic Y Combinator framework. Just head over to my channel. You can see that video there. Just to hammer the point home, more staff is the effective growth, not the cause of it. If you are growing, that enables you to hire more staff, but not the other way around. Again, The default alive or default dead framework, which I would summarize if I were approaching this problem, is step 1, confront the brutal facts. Step 2, stop solving problems by hiring. And step 3, find growth that isn't expensive. Now, I will say this. If you're listening to this video and you are not default alive, you can get there. Again, you have to follow these 3 steps in some way, shape, or form. But I will say, it is an incredible feeling to know you control your business's destiny, not VCs, not anyone else. And here's the most ironic thing. When you are default alive, VCs want you more because you've demonstrated you built an actual business. Remember, avoid the fatal pinch at all costs. That fatal pinch being you're growing out of control in terms of spend, but the growth isn't there, meaning crap, we have to keep spending more to make up for the growth. And then we think we're hiring more people to solve it, but we're not. And the next thing you know, we run out of money. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found value. We'll also link down below to the full essay from Paul Graham, Default Alive or Dead, which is a fantastic read. Again, we had the calculator down below too. But I hope this is helpful. Please apply the framework. Also, I would love to be a small part of your journey. If you yourself are building a business, if you yourself are default dead or alive, we'd love to help support that so you can stay even more default alive for longer by providing back office help, whether it's forming your LLC, bookkeeping, or taxes. That is what Doola does. We're a business in a box. You can head down below, schedule a demo at doola.com. No strings attached. Talk to a human today. Once again, I hope you found value in the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We drop content like this on the regular. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.